In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the shooting death of KhaiBryant. We're going to be looking at the hysteria surrounding it by the
SJW left.
And we're also going to be looking at
the crazy shit
the conservative right was saying about it.
I don't think the real story is being told. So
let's get into it.
Keyboard warriors want to come at me. So on April 20, 2021, it was the same day that the verdict for Derek Chauvin came out. KhaiBryant, 16, was shot down by the police. It was one of two really big incidences that happened that I think really shaped society in a way. The first one was the death of George Floyd. Now, conservative right-wing media were trying to say that he died of drugs. I think they thought that that's what their audience wanted to hear. Now, you had professional MMA fighters coming out and saying, if you want to kill a guy,
that's how you do it.
You had these people who were basically, you know, slightly right of centre, maybe slightly left of centre, enjoying conservative media because they felt they were getting told the truth, seeing this narrative that George Floyd died of drugs and just thinking, hold on.
I saw the video.
I myself pulled back a lot from conservative media. I'm like,
I don't want to be fucking lied to like that.
Now with KhaiBryant, it was the same thing, but it was with the left. Saw the video of KhaiBryant attacking another person with a knife and the police shooting her and saying,
you know, it's sad, but
that's justified.
And you started to really see who the fucking lunatics were on the left. Let's watch the video because the video is important.
Never mind, thank you.
Hey! What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey! 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 Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down!
No! You ain't shoot my fucking baby! You shot my baby! Are you fucking serious? I swear to God, you fucking shot! Are you stupid? Are you fucking serious? She shot!
Back up.
Is she shot?
She had a knife. She just went at her.
She's a fucking kid, man!
So let's jump into a couple of articles about what had happened because it really breaks down the lead up to the shooting. We're going to get into some comments from fucking people on
social media
who's clearly done fucking no research. Baltimore Times writes, Ohio places children in foster care at rates 10% higher than the national average. The child welfare officials here are considerably less likely than in the country as a whole to place children with their relatives. Black children, like the Bryants, account for nearly 1/3 of children removed from their homes, nearly twice their proportion in the population. So 1/3. The oldest of 4 children born to Paula Bryant, a nursing assistant, and Myron Hammonds, KhaiBryant was removed from her mother's home in 2018 and spent 16 months living with her grandmother, Janine Hammonds. When her grandmother was kicked out by her landlord, the siblings went into foster care and spent 2 years cycling through short-term placement arrangements that dissolved one after the other. Okay, so that's not unusual. When you go into emergency accommodation, that's not unusual. So I don't know what they're trying to insinuate here.
oh, they dissolve one after the other.
The foster care system is overwhelmed. There's not enough foster carers as it is. You know, so finding placements it can be difficult and they can be short term. In 2018, Paula Bryant had moved with her 5 children, including a teenage son from a previous relationship, into a house in West Columbus. Hammonds, Mackay's father, did not live with the family, and Paula Bryant described herself as raising their children largely on her own. Andrea Douglas, 37, a pastor's wife who lived 2 doors down from the Bryant family that year, recalled the fights between Paula Bryant and her daughters. The girls ran out of the house terrified, she said, and were hanging out in the backyard screaming while their mum was yelling at them. The family had been on the radar of child services for several years, and amid repeated complaints that the 2 youngest children were absent from school. In February 2017, Bryant took Micaiah, Janiyah, and the 2 younger siblings to one of the agency's offices and said she was at her wits' ends and could no longer handle them, according to Child Services document outlining the case. The children told police officers that they had suffered physical abuse from their mother and older half-brother, according to the mother's lawyer, Michelle Martin, though Bryant denied ever abusing them. A magistrate judge dismissed the abuse claims against Bryant in February 2019, but found that she had neglected the children according to court documents. Hammonds, their grandmother, took the 4 children into her 2-bedroom apartment. After about 6 months, she began receiving $1,200 a month in aid from the state to cover their care. Now, the grandmother actually ended up getting kicked out of this. I don't know what fucking landlord's going to kick an elderly woman out for looking after her grandchildren. That is just fucking ridiculous. But she ends up getting kicked out and the kids get taken off her and they get put back into foster care. Now, the article tries to insinuate that the state is incentivizing taking kids off the family, which is not fucking true. It's a blatant lie. The crack journalists over at the Baltimore Times, I can fucking squash this conspiracy for you. You don't need to do any more digging. The reason why the grandmother didn't receive the payment for 6 months was because they're de-incentivizing people rorting the system. Because what's stopping me putting my child with my mother and saying, oh, I can't look after her anymore, my mother's going to take care of it, so she's getting this $1,200 a month, but really, I'm living there and I'm saying my address is somewhere else. What's stopping that? People rort the system all the time.
People are stupid if they don't fucking know that.
I know 2 people rorting the single parent payment. The father of their kids lives with them, has a job, and they tell Centrelink, over here we got Centrelink, they tell Centrelink that,
Oh, no, he doesn't live with us.
and they get the single parent payment. I know 2 people that do it. It's very fucking common. Hammond slept wherever she could for several months until she secured a home that could accommodate the children. In December 2019, Hammond submitted a petition to the court for the return, but it was rejected. Although the court's reasoning is not known, the Children's Services Agency had reported to the court that Hammonds had failed to meet all the children's needs and had not made sure they attended all necessary counselling appointments, according to Martin. That's the family lawyer again. The girls, meanwhile, were placed in separate group homes. The 2 sisters moved through a half-dozen living situations, ultimately ending up at Moore's house on Legion Lane, not far from their grandmother's house, and together for the first time since they left her care. By this spring, Janiah Bryant said Moore's home had become increasingly tense. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, she said, Moore had accused the girls of stealing the cars that carry cash benefits for food. And she said Moore sometimes left them unsupervised or with former foster children. Women in their 20s who, Bryant said, berated them and mocked her sister's speech impediment. After school on April 20, the 2 Bryant girls found themselves alone in the house with Tiana Bonner, 22, one of Moore's former foster children. Tiana Bonner is the girl in the pink, okay? Bonner, who had come to celebrate Moore's birthday the previous day, was now scolding the girls and saying they were habitually disrespecting Moore. She's like, my mum told you all to clean up this house. It's dirty, Janiah Bryant said. The dispute escalated quickly, but when Janiah Bryant called Moore, she was at work. She said she was too busy to get involved. Bryant said, so each of them called for backup. Bryant called her grandmother and Bonner called another young woman, I don't know how to pronounce her first name, so I'm going to call her Craig Watkins, 20, who had lived in the house as a foster child. Neither Bonner nor Craig Watkins agreed to be interviewed for this article. The reason why they're not being interviewed for the article is because they're not complete victims. The narrative that,
These 2 girls are just attacked out of nowhere.
it's not true. Hammonds rushed over and described standing on the stairway inside, trying to protect her granddaughters as the older woman threatened to beat them up. Bonner had pulled out a knife. Janiah Bryant and her grandmother said, and Micaiah had grabbed a steak knife from the kitchen. Janiah Bryant went into her room and called 911. In the call placed at 4:32 p.m, she asked for help as people shouted in the background. Reports from people on the left were saying Micaiah called the police. It wasn't. It was her sister who called the police. I think it was like a week or 2 prior to this. She called the police saying she doesn't want to be there anymore and all this sort of shit. I don't know if you're starting to see a pattern here, but these girls, they're causing a lot of trouble. They did it with their mother, now they're doing it at this place. The call goes, it's 3171 Legion Lane, Janiah Bryant told the dispatcher. We got Angie's grown girls trying to fight us, trying to stab us, trying to put her hands on our grandmother. Get here now. 12 minutes later, the police arrive. Now, Angie is the lady whose house it is, the foster mother. In a brief lull, Craig Watkins left the house and the sisters began to pack up their things, thinking the worst of the situation was over. As they rushed out of the house, their father was pulling in to come to their aid, but also arriving was Craig Watkins, who had returned with 2 more people. The 2 groups crossed paths and Craig Watkins spit towards the family. Janiyah Bryant and Janine Hammond said, "I feel like that really made Mackay really mad when she spit," Bryant said. "That's when everything just went left." A police officer stepped out of his car and walked towards the driveway just as Mackay Bryant turned her attention to Craig Watkins and could be heard on video from the neighbour's surveillance camera threatening to stab her. She says, "I'm going to stab the fuck out of you, bitch," is exactly what she said. As Mackay Bryant charged, Craig Watkins tumbled to the ground and Myron Hammonds tried to kick her. Mackay Bryant turned to Bonner and backed her up against a car. This is when the cops shot her. We've all seen the video. This is basically, they're just describing what had happened. As Bryant's body lay on the ground, police officers led her sister inside Moore's house along with her father's young son. Before an officer took her phone, she sneaked into the bathroom and made one more call to help. "I called my real mum, my biological mum, and I told her, I said, I need you. They just shot Mackay, get here now." So as you can see from that, look, these kids had issues. Now, I know quite a few single mothers raising daughters, and when their daughters get to like teenage years, like 12, 13, 14, they fucking go out of control, you know, because there's no father figure in the house. Now, I've seen this sort of behavior several times now, you know, where they threaten to call docs over here. You know, they'll say to their mum,
I'll fucking get child services on the UA if you fucking touch me or try and ground me.
Happens all the time. These kids, they make these threats. They fucking try to build a case against you. She's a single mum raising 5 fucking kids, okay? And she's working. She's a nurse's assistant. And she's coming home. The kids are not listening to her. They're not going to fucking school. She's getting calls from the school. She's probably been fined because they do fine you. If your kids don't go to school, they fine you. One lady went to jail over $2,000 in truancy fines and she died in jail because her kid
Wasn't going to school.
I've seen this before. Friends of mine, their kid won't go to school. If you're fucking working, how are you supposed to enforce that? And she's dealing with 4 of them. The story of the kids running out, they actually ran out to a cop car. It was 2 in the fucking morning. What are these kids even doing up that late? Obviously, the mum has a hard time getting him to go to bed, and they're claiming all sorts of shit.
Because they're kids.
I don't believe the Bryant sisters at all. I think there's enough proof there that they know how to game the system. And I know that because I grew up around people that did it. You know what I mean? I can see it.
Like, how many fucking enemies does one person have?
Enemy with my mum, enemy with this girl in pink, enemy with the fucking, the whole foster care system. You don't have that many enemies. You're fucking 14 years old.
Like, it's crazy.
So let's go over to Twitter, because Twitter's the
Funnest place in the world.
to read people's stupid comments. Defund and abolish the police. This is Bree Newsom. Teenagers have been having fights, including fights involving knives, for eons. We do not need police to address these situations by showing up to the scene and using a weapon against one of the teenagers. Y'all need help. I mean that sincerely. This has to be a joke. She has to be joking. She doesn't think a knife is a weapon? Let's have a look at what Merriam-Webster's dictionary says a weapon is.
Definition of a weapon. Something such as a club, knife, or gun used to injure, defeat, or destroy.
The number of murder victims in the United States in 2020 by weapon used. Let's look at knife. Oh my God, 1,739 people died from being stabbed. According to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, firearms account for about 76% of homicides in America, while knives account for about 10%. So 10% of homicides in America are by a fucking knife. It is a weapon.
You fucking idiot.
Brittany Cooper, probably one of the most racist people in the world. She's a professor. Yeah, a professor. A black girl is dead because the cops brought a gun to a damn knife fight. If you don't know how to de-escalate teen girls who are fighting, you should not be a police officer. I said what I said, hashtag KhaiBryant. De-escalate teen girls who are fighting. He had 6 seconds to de-escalate that. And he said, stop, get down, get down, get down, get down. 4 fucking times. Brittany Cooper says again, I am still thinking about KhaiBryant, still feeling betrayed by black people, men and women, who continue to justify the cop shooting her, despite extended videos saying he had time, despite a range of teachers and social workers who de-escalate fights daily. I am sad and angry. Now she's shaming other black people who watched the video and logically came to the conclusion like, that cop really had no other choice. She's trying to shame them.
This is what the loony left do.
This is somebody who has one of the most important jobs in the world, which is shaping and molding young minds. And this is the sort of shit she comes out with. I mean, she's done a lot worse, don't get me wrong. So I'm just going to quickly read this about Brittany Cooper. Calls for Rutgers University professor Brittany Cooper to be investigated for hate crime is growing stronger after she termed white people villains and said, we got to take these motherfuckers out during a discussion on critical race theory. This is what she said. Like, I saw the video on that. I believe it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. I think she was making a joke. But in what world is that fucking funny? Like, that's not funny now. That's not going to be funny in 50 years. It's not a fucking funny joke to say we need to take these motherfuckers out. Talking about white people, talking about a race of people.
It's fucking crazy.
And it's like, no, that's what white humans did. White human beings thought there's a world here and we own it. Prior to them, black and brown people have been sailing across oceans, interacting with each other for centuries.
This fucking bitch still ain't funny. Oh, and this isn't a debate. You say anything remotely justifying the killing and I'm blocking you. And don't say nothing to me about the black grown woman in pink. None of you care about her either, including the cop since he shot 4 times in her direction. They all could have lived. See how she demonizes the woman in pink?
Why, the grown woman in pink?
She don't give a fuck about her, does she?
Liberal Nerd says, I said the same thing. He shot 4 times into a crowd. He could have easily hit others. A crowd? Did she see the video? I'm guessing she didn't. Centrist politically. I guess you just cared about the right of someone to try to murder someone else. Defending this hurts the credibility of the social justice movement. He's 100% right. That you would have had to have lost a lot of following. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, how fucking dumb do they think we are? Emmett says, Doc, I hear you. I am a PhD social worker and I'm hearing both sides. Like, there are 2 sides. All the negatives are focused on the knife. All the negatives. All the people basically saying, look, man, like, cop out the door.
You negative son of a bitch.
What about the right to protect yourself from harm? I'm at my house in my driveway, 16 years old, and I'm a threat to somebody with a gun? Really? This guy clearly, I don't know, he mustn't have watched the video because Micaiah didn't attack the cop. Micaiah was attacking an unarmed woman. She attacked 2 unarmed women.
I don't know what the fuck you're even talking about.
A cop's job is to preserve life, okay? And that might mean taking one life to preserve another. That's what a cop's job's supposed to do. This PhD, I don't know what you got your PhD in, maybe cooking noodles or some shit, because that is fucking ridiculous. Rubber Toe says, what are you talking about? First of all, someone with a knife can always be a threat to someone, but the person Bryant was being a threat to was unarmed. No, technically, she was armed with a puppy she was holding. You gonna de-escalate that stabbing in 10 seconds, please? Ben says, wow, you were a professor with this level of intellect. Stop letting emotion run wild and look at the fact she was going to stab another human and the officer stopped a murder. Hashtag peace God, hashtag BLM says, motherfucker had a multiple choice problem. Didn't think the girl on the ground about to get her head kicked to the Mars rover was in imminent danger. Didn't use his taser as an excuse and shot someone in the back. Why he ain't just grab her or use his car sound system to make presence known. Unless he's Stretch Armstrong, I don't think he can reach her. Good Kids Mad City, this is probably one of the most telling tweets I have ever seen. Ever in my life, I'm putting it out there. Please, stop. Don't share the video of Micaiah being killed. They are already criminalizing her like they've done hashtag Adam Toledo. Some of us have intervened in fights, de-escalated, and even disarmed people. We don't have a badge and a gun. They're trying to keep people stupid. They don't want you watching the video because they know if you watch that video, you're going to be like,
What the fuck are these people talking about? Like, she's literally trying to stab that chick in the neck.
Maya Harris, this is Vice President Harris's sister. Just because deadly force can be used doesn't mean it should be used. Have you watched the fucking video? I don't think these people had watched the video when they started making these stupid comments.
It's crazy.
Here's a reply to Maya. Nope, shooting her was not necessary. Gave her no chance to even recognise that a gun was pointed at her. A warning shot into the air could have been effective. Stop defending cops. Do these people think the bullet just goes up and into outer space? What the fuck are you talking about? The bullet comes back down. You don't just fucking fire into the air, you idiot.
Oh my God.
He gave her no chance to even recognise a gun was pointed at her. He said get down.
4 fucking times.
Stop, get down, get down, get down, get down. In 6 seconds. Jodwi says, I'm 5'6". I would have likely been able to stop that girl from stabbing anyone just by grabbing the arm that had a knife in it and using my body to control her movements. Even if you fail, it's a better solution than shooting when he doesn't know who the aggressor was. He doesn't. You can see her attacking people with a knife. What the fuck are you even talking about? And what are you, fucking Steven Seagal? I'm going to use my body to fucking... You're off your fucking head. These people live in a fucking fantasy world. Like, you know, she clearly thinks she's some fucking martial arts expert.
Unbelievable.
Don't call the cops. Call a family member. Or if there's a mental illness issue, call a family member. This should be obvious by now. She's 15 with a knife. I can easily disarm my 22-year-old daughter with a knife. Why the hell are you calling the cops? Her sister called the cops, which she's done several fucking times in the past. Which is odd too, because white people doing something, the video I made last week, they reckon that, you know, black people are terrified of cops and you should never call to help a black woman being beaten in a domestic violence incident. So I'm a little bit shocked that this black teenager is calling the cops so often. Now, we all know LeBron James, the big fucking hero that he is. He posted a picture of the cop and said, hashtag you're next. Then he's obviously seen the video. He's deleted the tweet, but he didn't come out and say, oh, look, you know, I made a mistake. He doubled down and made a tweet later on basically saying he's sick of seeing black people getting killed by cops. Wasn't big enough, apparently. The 6'9" of him wasn't big enough to admit that he'd made a mistake. Valerie Jarrett, a black teenager girl named KhaiBryant, was killed because a police officer immediately decided to shoot her multiple times in order to break up a knife fight, demand accountability, fight for justice. Now, Valerie Jarrett, she worked in the White House for the Obama administration. Now, I want to take you guys on a little fucking ride over to Reddit, because Reddit is where, fuck.
You're going to see some crazy shit at Reddit. Now, I want to take you guys on a little fucking ride over to Reddit, because Reddit is where, fuck. You're going to see some crazy shit at Reddit.
So someone posted about Mackay being shot, and Taliz says, by the woman, do you mean the 16-year-old child? A child was murdered. Keep that in mind. Sassy says, a child wielding a knife was shot. Keep that in mind. Taliz says again, yes, a child. That's the point. Sassy, who was wielding a knife? If you were on the receiving end, you'd think differently. But I guess perspective isn't taught in your school. Taliz says, when you try and educate someone, it's best not to insult their intelligence, similar to how people don't come to Jesus through billboards. This Taliz is a complete fucking idiot, and you're going to see, like, Code New B says, 16 is not a child. A teen was stopped from injuring another person by use of lethal force. Taliz says, our brains are still developing until we are in our 20s. Do some research before you come in here trying to make excuses. Code New B says, what does brain development have to do with a person being a child or not? In my mind, a child is a person before puberty. After that, they are a teen. At 20, a young adult. Either way, no matter the definition, someone 16 years old with a knife is dangerous enough to be put down if they are attempting to stab someone. Taliz says, I'll just let you reread your first question and offer you a chance to explain how that answer isn't everything.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Environmental fuckwit. A child was murdered while trying to murder another child. Fuck out of here. There's much bigger social issues at play. If something between kids even escalates to the point where knives are out, but at that point you aren't a child, you're just a dick who's trying to kill someone. Liz says, you are still a child. Brain development and all the things we now know about impulse control, science doesn't just go out the window. We need to address bigger issues. We need to grieve. Their issues are going to lead to more children dying if we don't. Have a heart.
Show me your ID. Are you 16 or are you fucking 20?
How does the cop even know this shit? Environmental fuckwit says again, she's for sure still a kid, and it's heartbreaking that she died, but at the same time, if she didn't die, another kid would be dead. Another woman, she was 20. She's the violent one. As much as I believe that society failed her long before this point, she's still the only one in that situation who deserved, used in the loosest possible sense. He makes sure she knows that. What happened? Liz says, your choice of how you view this makes me sad. He said in the loosest possible sense. She just totally ignores it. Environmental fuckwit says again, it makes you upset. I'm glad a murder was prevented. Liz says, did I say that? You pretty much did. Code New B says, give me one dictionary definition where it says the term child is related to brain development, and brain isn't fully developed until 25. So if he shot a 20-year-old thug about to stab another person, you would also call it a child murder? Liz says, bye Felicia. Here's the starting point for you. Now, I actually clicked on these fucking articles. 5 stages of human brain development was one of them. Throughout the lifetime of the human brain, it continues to undergo changes. I cannot stress the importance of each stage and how we need to nourish and protect our brain growth from 0 to 100 and hopefully beyond. Now, it just goes through the different stages here. So she's stage 3, 7 to 22 years. The neural connection of grey matter is still pruning. Wiring of the brain is still in progress. The fatty tissue surrounding neurons, or white matter, increasing system speeding, blah, 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 blah. Cut a long story short, says absolutely nothing about her being a child. Now, she sent us to another one, Brain Development in Preteens and Teenagers, raisingchildren.net. I had a little look at that one. I'm guessing you lot could probably take a wild guess. Says absolutely nothing about a 16-year-old being a child. Because 16, you're a fucking teenager. Goes on about building a healthy teenage brain and how you need fucking sleep and all that sort of shit. Code New B says, you know, you could just swallow your pride and admit you were wrong instead of going snowflake mode. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. We all do it. Liz says, snowflake mode is deactivated. Climate change. I don't know, maybe she'd come around to it, I don't know, but the fucking articles she put up, I don't even think she read them, because I read them and nothing in there suggested 16 was a child. In fact, I Googled what a child is and it's someone under 14. So, Little Unit says, so I am late to this conversation by several months, but I just have to point out that you were completely wrong in your assessment here. You were the one with incorrect facts and you had the nerve to accuse someone else of not knowing the situation. It's a big problem that people don't research things before commenting. Be better. Black Ninja says, have a look at this TikTok. We're going down the TikTok rabbit hole. So here we go. So we've been linked to this TikTok where they're comparing the incident of a cop being stabbed in the neck by this white guy, Nicholas Ferguson. And they're trying to say, like, look, it's the same as Micaiah. Right? So here are the comments.
Wrong. You're still not in trouble. But obviously I can't trust you not to run anywhere. All right? So, come on. Come on. I'm going to put you in handcuffs for now. Okay?
Look at the arrogance of these two white women.
Cops say Ferguson
Crazy.
pulled a knife and stabbed the deputy.
Look at the one in the car
neck.
dancing.
He's got a knife!
The young man takes off again.
Stop! Stop right now!
You can see the deputy's pistol in his hand, but he switches it for a non-lethal taser.
Drop the knife!
Other deputies shove and handcuff Ferguson.
I got stabbed in the neck.
Then they stem the blood with a special gauze known as quick clot.
He spent the night in the hospital.
So the TikTok, she was trying to stab 2 people. How is that not justified? Like the 4 shots were more than needed. But, and then they show this video, which is heavily cut down, and they make these stupid like, see, like it's the same. So let's check out the comments.
Because the comments are fucking fire, bro.
Goofy says, not the same situation. KhaiBryant and 2 other young women argued over a messy house and unmade bed before a fight that ended with the fatal police shooting. Dude says, even if she called the cops and defended herself on a fucking broad daylight, the cop asked them to stop, yet Mackay tried to stab another girl. Doodle says again, y'all say the cop shouldn't have killed Mackay, but it's okay somehow Mackay was trying to kill somebody in the name of self-defense. Nevertheless, the cop doesn't know she is just a kid or she's the one who called the cops. So y'all just dumb. Like, grow the fuck up. Basically said what I said, but, you know, it's come out that Mackay didn't call the police. It was his sister. Love says the cops more likely took a while to get there. If she stood there and did nothing, she would already be dead. Mackay would be dead. I don't know if you saw the same thing that we all saw, but Mackay was the only one fucking attacking. Yana Baby says, yet the fact that she wasn't tasered, she was shot and killed. Did you see how long it took for the cop to tase the white guy? It took a while. If you actually saw the whole fucking video, that was a cut down version of it. People think that them going and doing that and all the fucking flashes on the screen, they don't realize that the video's been fucking edited. That is not the length of the video. Did you see how fast Mackay was about to stab another girl? Doodle says again. Yana Baby says she was about to get jumped by brown women, which could have led to death. She was defending herself. Him shooting her was unnecessary. Quirt says, not true. They shot her within 10 seconds of arrival. They gave no warning. Shits. Didn't warn her and then killed her. Stop. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down.
It's not enough.
Quote says again, and as she should, if you break into my property, I have the right to shoot you. That was not her fucking property. These people don't do any fucking research. She was staying at a foster carer's fucking house. The girls she was attacking were there for the foster carer's fucking birthday because they used to be foster children there, and the one in the pink was looking after Mackay and a younger sister. Do some fucking research before you get on here.
Shit.
Cyber says, the white roaches in this comment is not it. This is a perfect example that it's about race. They go and say, different situation. They both had a knife. Cyber says again, but he actually did stab someone. She didn't. Laugh my ass off, so tone deaf. What the fuck are you even saying? Okay, both had a knife? Okay. Robin Lovely says, it is a sad fucking day when white people understand this was wrong before black people do. It is over for us black people as a race. This is another black person trying to shame other black people into going along with this bullshit that everybody can clearly see was a justifiable fucking shooting. Goofy says, not about race, the situation is completely different. Robin says, sure it is, Goofy. Perfect name for you, by the way.
Oh, great fucking shot.
Goofy says, how is someone running away the same as someone seconds from stabbing someone else? No response. Doodle says, 1. In the scene you're comparing, the man wasn't in a civilian area nor trying to hurt anyone. 2. This is not a racial issue. Yana Baby says, stabbing a cop in the neck? Okay, just shut up at this point. Doodles, you want me to shut up because I don't understand your stand. You stupid. That's your stand, Yana. Yana says, you're making yourself sound dumb. That's why I told you to shut up. Heaven says, wait, the cop said he got stabbed in the neck. Wouldn't he be dead? These people fucking for real? Like, do these people really exist?
If he got stabbed in the neck, wouldn't he be dead?
I thought he'd be dead if he got stabbed in the neck. YT says, so if he was black, he would be dead or in the hospital.
Oh, shit.
They silent on this post, huh, man? Exactly. Keta says, I seen your other video and instantly ran here to follow you. And I don't know, says exactly, period. Now, that's why she posted the fucking video. For likes and followers. You'd have to be fucking stupid to believe that. Now, it would be really cool if someone, I don't know, took both videos, put them side by side with a stopwatch on both of them, and actually compared both incidences. Was lucky I fucking did that.
Hey, get down, get down, get down, get down.
He shot me, he's got a knife! Hey, stop! Stop! Stop it! Stop! Stop right now! I got him at gunpoint. Stop right now! Stop! Nick!
As Florida deputies tried to get Nicholas Ferguson, 21, to a facility for a mental health evaluation, he fled to the woods and ended up stabbing an officer who was trying to calm him down, according to authorities. So the family had called in the police because he was having a mental health crisis, right? So Ryan Smith is a reporter and he posted on behalf of the family. They say Nicholas often suffers through paranoid behavior delusions. They alerted Grace Point for help on Sunday. Medical officials arrived with deputies from the sheriff's department. After it was determined Nicholas would be placed under Baker Act, they say he was scared and ran off. While Nicholas' parents never expected him to turn violent Sunday, they hope what happened sheds light on how critical treatment is for those who suffer. Sunday happened to be #World Mental Health Day. Look, that's the story of Micaiah. Look, she's not a villain, but there clearly is an issue with these kids. They've got behavioural issues, and you see it a lot, particularly kids from broken homes. The girl in the pink obviously was having a hard time dealing with these girls. They're trying to play the victim, saying that she was bossing them around and that. They did the exact same shit with their own mother. It's obvious that they're not telling the truth. The father, Myron, man, like, I walked around this one for ages trying to convince myself almost that he didn't realise Micaiah had a knife. He knew his daughter had a knife. Now, who the fuck lets their kid go and try and stab someone? He was next to her. If anyone could have stopped this from happening, it was him. He didn't fucking try and break it up. Now, all these white people defending this shit, it's like, think about it. Would you let your own kid get into a knife fight? I'm sick of this shit where people make out this is all about race. I saw the same shit in Housing Commission as a white kid watching fucking junkie parents fighting each other and the kids fighting each other. They were all white people. Saw this shit all the time. Fucking wanna go, you fucking go, you fucking, I'll fucking go, you, I'll fucking go, you fucking, let's go, fucking. And then, you know, the two kids will start out fighting, and then the parents will come out, and they don't break it up. They start fighting each other. I've seen it plenty of times. You know, when Ben Shapiro says it's not race, it's a cultural thing, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the lower class culture where there's fucking usually drug abuse, fucking criminality, cunts fucking stealing all the time, gang activity, you know, people who don't want to work and they're proud of not being a part of the system.
Like, oh, I don't fucking work.
Look, I grew up in a bad situation and, you know, I could have easily turned out to be a criminal, but I grew up in a bad neighborhood in a good area. So when I went to school, I started meeting other kids from good families and I saw how their life was and I wanted that for myself. I thought, fuck, you know, if I work hard, I can achieve that.
And look at my wall.
To a degree, I have. You know what I mean? I worked really fucking hard to get out of the lower class, to get out of that shit. Look, I'm only in the middle. I'm no fucking success story, but, you know, I'm not living next door to junkies. I'm not sharing a wall with some fucking crackhead. And back when I grew up in Housing Commission, it was during the 90s, the 80s and 90s, where it was all heroin. I mean, now it's ice. It's even fucking worse. You know, but I had to grow up around that shit. And, you know, you get these upper middle class white people, they don't fucking understand that. They grew up in good areas with good families and that. Currently, the family is trying to sue somebody. I think they're going to try and sue foster care, which is not going to work. I think the lawyer, Michelle Martin, is an ambulance chaser and she's really using the family to try and get her name out there because they're not going to win. The foster care system has checks and balances that they got to go through. They don't take kids off people willy-nilly. You know, that's not what they do. And if they can house them with family, they will. That was the KhaiBryant hysteria. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.